Hello everybody, the time has come. Now you might be wondering, what time is it, Jesse? It is New York/BEA book haul time. Oh yeah, whoo, ha, whoo, yeah. I've got several books to show you, so let's not waste any time and let's get started. The first night of my New York trip, I ended up going to a book signing for this little book that's coming out. It's kind of an under the radar book. Not a lot of people on BookTube talk about it, and that is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. Like I said, this is a very under the radar book. I would be very surprised if any of you guys knew what this book was about, or if you even knew about the Mortal Instruments series, because it's very under the radar, nobody talks about it. And I'm really glad that I get the chance to bring this series to BookTube. Please don't take my sarcasm seriously. I also got to meet Cassandra Clare for like 0.5 seconds, and she signed my book for Jesse, Cassandra Clare. You can't really see that, but it's there, I promise, I swear. And then when we got back from the signing, my good friend Ariel Bissett handed me a gift. And I was so surprised. I was not expecting to get anything after the signing, and she handed me over this beautiful edition of Frankenstein. Now, can we just take a second to observe how beautiful this book is? Like, seriously, it is so beautiful. And not only is it a classic story, it's a graphic novel, which makes it even better, and I am so pumped to read this because the art is excellent. So thank you, Ariel, for picking this up for me. You the best. Okay, so now I'm going to be getting into the books that I got at the actual Book Expo America. Now this next one is one that was kind of a random pick. I was in the Penguin booth heading to see Rainbow Rowell, and I just saw that this author was signing her book, and I was like, why the heck not? So I picked up Zodiac by Rowell. The author asked me what my sign was and got all excited because I'm a Cancer, and apparently the main character is a Cancer, so that's kind of cool. And she signed it. It says, "To Jesse, House Cancer?" Does it say House Cancer? I think it says House Cancer. I don't understand. Maybe if I read the book I'll understand. And then it says, "Your voice is the most powerful magic in any universe. XOXO, Rowell." Ooh, my voice is powerful in any universe. I'm pretty sure she wrote that in several books that day, so I don't know how significant that message is, but it's still pretty cool. This is the first book in a sci-fi fantasy series, and it actually sounds really interesting. It takes place in a galaxy inspired by the 12 astrology signs, so that sounds really cool, and I'm glad that I got a copy of this. As I said, we were heading to the Rainbow Rowell signing. We ended up getting in line, and it just didn't look like we were gonna get the chance to meet Rainbow Rowell. And we were all pretty disappointed because we each wanted to meet Rainbow Rowell, and we all wanted to get our hand on Landline. So we get in line, and this guy just goes down the line and starts passing out audiobooks of Landline. So I got a freaking audiobook of Landline. So cool! But that's not all. Jeffrey West, who is Ginger Book Nerd on YouTube, he doesn't make videos anymore, but he should get back into it. Anyways, he calls me over and hands me a ticket. I look at it. It's the Rainbow Rowell ticket to get Landline. What? He's like the nicest human being in the world, so I ended up getting my hands on a physical copy of Landline. But that's not all, guys. I got it signed. It says, "Jesse, call me maybe, Rainbow. Hoo-hoo, I'm gonna hit you up, Rainbow. I'm gonna call you up." Just kidding, I'm pretty sure she put that in everybody's books. So again, not that significant, but that's okay, because I have Landline in my hands. I have Landline. And then as I was walking around, I just got handed some random books. That happens a lot at BEA. You're just kind of handed books and you just take them. And if you don't want them, you just leave them on a table and somebody else will take them. But anyways, I got my hands on James Patterson, House of Robots, My Brother, the Robot, which I'm actually really glad that I got my hands on this because it's like a graphic novel. It is a middle grade book, but I don't mind that because I quite enjoy middle grade. So I'm happy that I got my hands on this. Also, I've heard great things about James Patterson. I've heard he's a pretty great author, so looking forward to getting into this one. And then I got handed Thrones and Bones Frostborn by Lou Anders. This cover just looks so cool. Again, this is middle grade, but it's a fantasy book, and the cover looks awesome, and I'm really pumped to get into this one. And then I got my hands on Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater, which I believe is a companion to the Shiver trilogy, which I have not read, and I'm not planning on reading. So what I'm wondering is if it's okay to read Sinner without having read the Shiver trilogy, which I think that I'm gonna go ahead and read this book without having read the Shiver trilogy because I'm just not that interested in the Shiver trilogy, but for some reason I want to read this book, so we'll see what happens, but I'm probably gonna read this without having read the Shiver trilogy. Judge me, I don't care. And then this next one is the one that I was probably looking forward to getting my hands on the most, and that is The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. This is the first book in their middle grade series that they collaborated on, and I'm so happy that I got my hands on it because it just sounds epic. Also, this arc is really weird. The cover is actually right here. I don't know why they did that, but they did. They're weird. Scholastic, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't care though, because I have The Iron Trial in my hands. I need to go read this. I'll read it later. The next book I got is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, and I actually got to go to dinner with this author. Quirk Books hosted a dinner and we got to meet the author and talk to him about his book, and it sounds so interesting. Basically, it takes place in, I believe, an IKEA, and it looks like a catalog. When I first sat down, they were on our plates and I was like, why exactly do they have a catalog at this dinner? And then I flipped through it and I realized it was a freaking book. So that's pretty cool. This next book was a random one that I got, but I'm actually really glad that I got it because I've read a book by this author and it was really good. So I'm really glad that I got this one, and that is The Fire Artist by Daisy Whitney. I recently read When You Were Here by Daisy Whitney and I really enjoyed it. So I'm ecstatic that I got my hands on this, but I will say the cover is kind of lame. I'm sorry, it's lame. It's really lame. I'm done judging the book. Okay. This next book, I had the hardest time finding it. We went to several ARC drops and they had dropped it early in the day, and then we were going to go to a signing, but it conflicted with something else that we were doing. And then I went to live tweet the E. Lockhart panel for Booksplosion's Twitter, and the author of this book happened to be on a panel before the E. Lockhart panel, and they just so happened to have ARCs of his book that we had been trying so hard to find sitting on a table, and we asked the lady if we could have one and she's like, heck yes, take it. And that book is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. This book sounds so awesome. I can't even. This book is about a girl who's going through the publishing process, and not only that, but you get to read the book that she is publishing. Does that not just sound interesting to you? I am so happy that I got my hands on this. I was worried that we were gonna get it, and then we did, and now I have it, and I can just stroke it all day long. I'm not gonna do that. That's weird. We don't stroke books here. Well, sometimes. Sometimes. I'm done. Sitting right next to Scott Westerfeld's books on that table where we got it from was Brandon Mall's 5 Kingdoms Sky Raiders. And I just got the Fable Haven series by Brandon Mall from a subscriber, and that was so awesome. So when I saw this, I had to have it, and I asked the lady if I could have it, and she's like, yeah, take it. I'm like, okay, I will take it. So now I have it, and all is good in the world. Now this next section of books are all books that I waited in line for with my lovely friends. The first book is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I don't know if I will ever read this book, but it is personalized. It says, to Jesse, all my best, XOXO, Morgan Matson. So I don't know if I will read this book. I just don't know if it's something that I would enjoy. Who knows? But it's personalized, so I feel inclined to keep it, but we'll see what happens. And then I got A.S. King's new book, Gloria O'Brien's History of the Future. I had several encounters with A.S. King throughout BEA. Each of them made me want to read her books more and more and more, so I'm really happy that I got my hands on this. She signed it saying, Jesse, you rock, A.S. King. And I also got a Reality Boy bookmark, so that's really cool. And then I somehow ended up getting Holly Black's new book, The Darkest Part of the Forest. This is another ARC that we had been trying so hard to get. We went to several ARC drops and they didn't have it, or they had dropped it too early, or there was a huge line for it. And her signing line was massive, but I had just got done live tweeting the E. Lockhart event on the Booksplosion Twitter, and I was walking by and I saw a lady with blue hair, and I was like, oh, that's Holly Black, isn't it? Cool. And then I jumped in a random signing line with Liz from Lizzie Books, and I looked back at Holly Black and I was like, that line is pretty short. I should probably go get in line and get that book. So I just kind of ditched Liz, didn't tell her where I was going at all, and ran and got a copy of The Darkest Part of the Forest. And I got it signed, which is cool. It just says, it kind of says F Jesse. I think she meant to say for Jesse, but it just says F Jesse. So, what is that supposed to mean, Holly Black? Whatever, I don't care. She signed it too, which is really nice. But yes, I saw an opportunity to get this book, and I just ran with it. So I'm glad that I took a chance and ran into the line. And then I got a book that I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate me for getting because I haven't even started the series and I don't deserve this book. I really do not deserve it, but I have it. And that is Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. Ooh. To be fair, I am planning on marathoning what is out of the series this summer, so don't judge me, but I have Air of Fire, and I'm really glad that I have it because everybody loves this series and I feel like I'm gonna love it too, so don't hate me. Sarah J. Maas, though, is such a beautiful author. Like, she is stunning. I walked up and I was just like, oh, you are beautiful. You are so beautiful. She was definitely worth the 2.5 hour wait. But she signed it, just says to Jesse, and then she's got her lovely signature down here. So I'm glad that I have this, but I know that a lot of people are gonna hate me because I have it, so don't hate me. Don't hate me because I have it, don't. I also got 2 samplers at BEA, which I just hate samplers, okay? They just make no sense to me, but I have them, so I'm gonna show them to you. The first book is Let's Get Lost by Adi Alsaid, yes. This is a book that I actually really want, and they had arcs of it at BEA, but I missed the arc drops, and I also missed his signing, which is a big bummer because I really, really want this book. It sounds really cool. It's a road trip book, and I love road trip books. They're just the best. So, unfortunately, I did not get an arc, but I got a frickin' sampler. And then I got the In the Afterlight sampler, which I haven't even read Never Fade yet. So why would I read this? I'm ticked. Not really. I just don't care about samplers. Why samplers? Give me an arc. I'd rather have an arc. That sampler is just gonna sit there and collect dust. I'm done with my rant, I think. So now I'm just gonna show you some of the bookish swag I got at BEA because I got a lot of book swag. I got a lot of tote bags. I got tote bags for days. And I've never had a tote bag, but now I have like like 4. Because of BEA. So thanks BEA for all the totes, even though I don't use tote bags. Maybe I should start. No, I'm not gonna start using tote bags. That's a lie. But I'll show you the cool totes that I got. The first tote bag I got was the Darkest Minds tote bag, and it says, let's carpe the beep out of this DM. Ooh, so cool, and there's nothing on the back. Lame. And then I got an Epic Reads bag. Harper Teen. Ha, ha. For being an Epic Reads bag, it's not very epic. Did I just throw shade? I think I just threw some shade. I'm sorry. And then Ariel was so nice and picked me up this Throne of Glass tote bag. It's got Selena on the front. Ooh, it says a heart of ice, a will of steel. Ooh. And then on the back it says their names, which is cool. I'm not gonna read them because I'll probably pronounce them wrong and I already haven't read the series and everybody's gonna hate me, so I'm not gonna do that to myself. Don't hate me. Don't hate me because I have a tote bag now. Don't hate, appreciate. And then I also got this I Read YA tote bag, which I also got a lot of I Read YA swag, which is cool because I read YA and I love supporting YA, so that's cool. So I'll show you that stuff that I got now. I got these cool I Read YA pins, which I'm gonna put in my eyes. That just sounded really bad. I'm gonna put pins in my eyes, guys. Ooh. Actually, I feel uncomfortable just holding those near my eyes now, so I'm just gonna hold them here. And then I got these cool Mortal Instruments pins, which you probably can't see very well, but they're cool and stuff. And I'm not gonna hold them near my eye because that's dangerous. What if it just like pops and pokes my eye? And then okay, I'm done. Then I got this cool I Read YA tumbler, which is actually really nice. And I'm so glad that I have this. Then I got some rune tattoos because, you know, I'm a shadow hunter. I need my runes. Then I got some cool Booksplosion swag. That's what's up. So that's all the stuff that I got from BEA. Now I'm gonna show you the books that I got at Strand bookstore. Ooh. The first book I got is one that I already have. Don't judge me. I have the paperback version, but when I saw the hardcover version, I just had to have it, guys. I just had to have it. And I kind of collect this author. I want to say that I collect his books because he's one of my favorite authors. And that is the Lemony Snicket, the Unauthorized Autobiography. Let me just show you why I bought this book, because it's so beautiful. Look how nice this hardcover is. It is so nice. The paperback is not this nice. This is nice. Not only that, but the dust jacket flips into its own cover. So that's pretty awesome. And then I picked up Lemony Snicket's new book, File Under 13 Suspicious Incidents. And I was hoping to get this book at BEA. I was hoping to meet Daniel Handler, but I didn't get the chance to. His tickets went like that, so I didn't get a ticket to go to his signing or anything. But I got his new book at Strand bookstore, and I believe that this is kind of a novella situation for his new series that's out, so that's pretty neat. And then I picked up Fae Normal by Courtney C. Stevens, and the reason I picked this book up is kind of a weird reason, but my favorite author, Victoria Schwab, is actually really good friends with this author, Courtney C. Stevens, so I just saw it and I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. And I know that that's kind of a weird reason to pick up a book, but I'm weird. I think we all know that by now. Jesse the Reader is weird. So those are all the books that I got in New York. I knew while at this trip that I had received quite a few books, but now that I'm looking at this pile, I'm overwhelmed, and I have so much reading to do. I don't have time. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Later.